and welcome to this continuing First Look Exploring session looking at Timon by somebody or some peoples around about 1602. We don't really know precisely where it comes from. There are several possibilities as to the kind of institution that may or may not have produced it originally, but there's nothing certain, so we're leaving it at that. This is sometimes known as the comedy of Timon, because by and large it's quite funny. Or at least that's what we found last time when we did the first act and a half or so, and we're going to be continuing our journey today from Act 2, Scene 4, and find out what's going to go on in the household of Timon, but also in the house of Gelasimus. So we've got the nouveau riche versus old money in terms of how they spend their fortunes, and the comedy japes that occur between the two. Reading today, there are too many parts that we got readers for, so this might get a bit clashy. But reading First Sergeant Lachus, Blatte, and Page is...
That's me, Rachael, actor on the East Coast.
Reading the Second Sergeant as well as Gelasimus is...
Hi, I'm Greg, and I'm in Stratford-on-Avon.
Reading Demeas, Lollio, and Abyssus is... muted at present. For technical reasons, currently silent.
Tom from Brighton.
Reading Eutrapelus, Hermogenes, and a sailor. Hello, sailor, is...
Hello, sailor. From London, it's Angela.
Reading Timon, Grunnio, and Paedio is...
Desna from Lancaster.
And reading Pseudocheus, Obba, Philargurus, and anything in unison is...
Liza Graham, in London. Yes, hi.
And I'm your host, Robert Crighton. I'll be reading stage directions, and I also will be reading Callimela, who is, a person. So, we're going to rejoin at Act 2, Scene 4. I've got a note saying that there might have been some text missing between the previous session and this session. I don't really think there was, actually. I think this all functions perfectly well. And that's probably something... illogical, which nobody watching this video cares about. So anyway, we're going to go into Act 2, Scene 4. Enter Demeas, two sergeants at one door, Timon, Lachus, Hermogenes, Gelasimus, Pseudocheus, Eutrapelus at another. Lots of people on stage. Hopefully we don't talk at the same time.
Where hail ye me, ye knaves? Where hail ye me? Gates, cannibals, ye cruel Scythians! Loose me, ye varlets, I am an orator. Loose me, I say.
Good words, I pray. We do but our office. The judges have committed thee to Gaul.
Help me, ye gods! What, shall an orator be cast in prison, bound in iron chains?
Well, Demosthenes, thou shouldst not escape.
Oh, suffer me to speak.
What is this tumult? Is this Demeas, the orator?
Hist peace, and let us patiently see this comedy's catastrophe.
If all thy rhetoric can persuade us, we'll set thee free at thine own liberty.
Go to, be not tedious. Begin.
By what fault or fate of mine, luculent, not lutulent sergeants, shall I say it is come to pass that I, an orator, not an orator, florid, not horrid, should be cast into prison by stolid, not by solid persons? What have I done? What have I not done? Whom may I invocate? Whom may I not invocate? Ye hate an orator, but whither do ye hale him? Ye hale him to prison, but from whence do ye hale him? from the pews the most wicked judges. I owe, is that an offence? I owe 16 talents. Is that a sin? Now, whether I deserve imprisonment, judge ye. Let it be lawful for me. Oh, loving and living men, to orate and to exorate before the altar of your clemency, not the halter of your demency. So see that free me from the bonds, from prison, shall oblige me to you with the adamine bonds of love.
He hath composed a very doleful speech.
Art thou persuaded to dismiss him? Speak.
I feel some striving motion. Oh, but stay, I know 'twill vanish presently.
This orator hath stole all that he hath spoke. I heard old Nestor speak this word for word in the Fortunate Islands.
I am persuaded. I will let him go.
Oh, eloquence, what canst thou effect, whom do not sweeter words than honey move? I thank my genius.
Exult not so. I am persuaded, Demeas, I am. Thee to imprison. Come, my orator, not arator, my florid, not horrid. Be sure of this, we'll put thee in sure ties, unless thou put in sureties.
Dismiss him. I will 16 talents pay unto the citizens.
My Jupiter, my Jupiter.
Carry my name unto the judges. I will satisfy this debt.
My Jupiter, when I forgot thee, let me as a prey be cast alive to be devoured of beasts.
Thy wish is too large. I do desire a grateful mind. That's all that I require. I put my talents to strange usury to gain me friends that they may follow me.
Question mark whether there's some text missing here.
Writ in their face, if this thou dost perform, I shall have interest sufficient.
If this, my Timon, I do not perform, let Jove confound me with his thunderbolt.
This vow, O Jove, remember, let him feel, if he be false, the strength of thy right hand.
Hast thou not a brother lives in Athens? That is a fiddler.
A fiddler?
Sweet sir, be not so angry. I did never see one acre more like another. I will send for him tomorrow to my nuptials. He sings so daintily.
What, to thy wedding? Wilt thou put thy neck into a marriage noose?
Why not? I her, she me doth love.
A metaphor from the effect.
What more can I desire?
A barren forehead where homes may not grow. Oft other men beware by others' horns. You, Athens, thou shalt Vulcan's insignia see, a common badge to men of each degree. How many hang their heads down, lest they split the signposts with their horns? How many sit at home sick of the headache and complain that they are like to the two-horned moon? This man looks pale, another stands amazed. In the mean, while their wives are jovial, they eat the tongues of nightingales, lambstones, potato pies, pickled oysters, marrow bones, and drink the purest wine that they can get. They have their garden houses, will be sick. Then comes the doctor with his clyster pipe and makes them well. Their husbands' heads ache still.
Sarcasmus, what a bitter jest.
Think you that I shall be a horned satyr? Ha! Ha! As if I did not know what a trick men use. In Cappadocia they choose a friend that's gelt to keep their wives in chastity. This eunuch as their keeper they ordain. He doth observe each thing they do, their nods, their whisperings, their very farts and all. And where he doth in the same chamber watch, lest any on a sudden should surprise his friend's wife while she sleeps.
Is this the use in Cappadocia?
It is. Oh, they pease. This strange traveller has so subtly instructed me with counsels politic and have confessed himself an eunuch.
A syncope, unheard of.
Wilt thou appoint this man to keep thy wife?
I will. By Jove, my heart is full of glee that I have found out such a one as he.
This seems a wonder.
From the milky sea as I did sail, that sea the which was full from the deep bottom to the very top of pure white milk. The ship did carry me into an island that was made of cheese. Their houses were of butter.
Were they not melted with the sun?
Oh, no, they did obscure the sunbeams with wet cloths.
Tapinotus or diminution.
Thou, orator, what dost thou mutter thus? Hem. Let us drink, not idly spend the time. Let's sacrifice to Bacchus bowls of wine.
And in theory, exuent. Okay, we'll just take a moment, sort of just tune in, because that's quite a lot of quite weird stuff. And it's partly because it's sort of coming at us a bit randomly. I mean, broadly speaking, what's going on here is we're meeting another person who's in debt, and Timon bails them out, and we're having a bit more integration of Timon's plotline with Gelasimus's plotline, and there's witty stuff going on. I like Sarcasmus or a bitter jest. It sounds like the title of a lost play.
Well, what the orator is doing is naming rhetorical tropes. As other people use them. And I do like the sergeant, the pitiless sergeant that emulates the orator's style rather better than Demeas does, in fact. That speech was never going to get him off. What was he thinking?
Yeah, the sergeant likes a pun. The sergeant's got a good line in puns. I like a pun. I'm impressed.
I do like that you get a chance to talk yourself out of jail. I think that's... more people should institute that.
Yeah, you get a 2 minute speech. If it's good, sergeants let you off. I think that's in this case it was a no from him. But yeah, Timon gives some money away once again, and then some witty banter. I'm quite curious. The ship did carry me onto an island that was made of cheese. What was that about? I liked it. I just don't... It felt very random.
Pseudocheus' thing is that he pretends to be a traveler who's seen all the strange foreign places that the people in the play know nothing about, and therefore they can't contradict him. So that's why he claims to have sailed on a sea of milk to an island of cheese where people built their houses out of butter, which really strikes me as kind of delicious. I hope he brought some crackers.
Yes, I feel that Wallace and Gromit would be very much at home with this exploring adventure. In fact, I like that. Yes, I'd forgotten. Pseudocheus is this sort of parasite figure who weaves these tales. Yes. Tuning back into who the hell everyone is. This is helpful. Angela.
Pseudocheus claims he's a eunuch, and in fact, when we left them at the last time that we did this, he actually said, I'll look after your beloved for you because she's very, very beautiful. But what I want to know is this. Here he's, it's definite. He's claimed to be a eunuch so that he's going to get power over Callimela. What has that got to do with all this cream and cheese and stuff? Are they related? Because I'm wondering why he's suddenly said this after the discussion of him being a eunuch.
It felt very non sequiturs. There's. I think there may be some interesting textual questions here, Liza.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's thematically linked. I can think of, if I were writing about this, I can think of some parallels, but we'll let those pass. I don't know. I think I don't know whether it's linked to him being a eunuch. I think it is linked to his currency only lasting as long as he keeps the company entertained with his traveler's tales. That Gelasimus mentions Cappadocia, which Pseudocheus clearly told him about. I mean, do eunuchs like cheese more than other people?
I have no data on that, but maybe we can look for some kind of survey. Anyway, we need to move on. We've got a lot of text to get through. I think we've tuned in a bit. Additional questions, I'm sure, will fly as we go into Act 2, Scene 5. Which seems to be a separate scene. Enter Lollio at one door, but it's odd because pretty much everyone who was on stage a second ago comes back on again. So enter Lollio at one door, and Timon, Hermogenes, Gelasimus, Pseudocheus, Eutrapelus at another, with feathers in their hats. Demeas, Lachus, and Obba.
Call they this Athens? Lord, what very buildings!
See ye that clown? How he admires all things. Eutrapelus says, I know him well. 'Tis Lollio, the son of covetous Philargurus, who ne'er permits his son to frequent the city, lest he should learn the city's luxury. He lives at home, eats brown bread and butter, sometimes fat bacon.
Good gods, what preparation! What a concourse of people! This city Zoon seems brighter than our country Zoon. Lord, how many stars see I, how near they are.
The sign of the 7 stars.
Thy hand may touch them with a ladder's help.
Where's Charles Wayne? I cannot see it here. In our sky, which we have in the country, I with my vinegar can demonstrate it.
Shh, don't laugh.
I cannot refrain when I see such fools.
There's not such an ass in all Arcadia, so very an ass as thou.
Jove bless me. How many devils are here? Are they philosophers or brabbling lawyers? They look with such sour faces.
Eutrapelus, speak to him. Say we are the prime men of the city.
Save you, Lollio.
Save you, Eutrapelus. So love me, Pan. I'm glad to see thee well.
What strange occasion brought you hither?
I am sent for to my Zitter's wedding. Here are fine sights.
Seest thou these young men? They are the prime men of this same city.
Will they not imprison me?
Fear nothing.
What dainty birds do sights upon their hats. I wonder much they do not live, not vile away. Their eyes are on me. Must I make a leg?
They come to salute thee.
Prithee, hold my staff.
Most welcome unto Athens.
Thanks, by Jove.
We long have looked for such a one, whom we might substitute prince for the whole country.
Bob, how he stinks of garlic.
All are not muskified.
Put on thy hat, thou shalt be our fellow.
Well be it with thy oxen and thy ploughs, whose grace me with such great courtesy. If once I see thee at my father's house, I'll give thee ale pragmatical indeed, which, if thou drink, shall fuddle thee hand and foot.
Since I did taste the nectar of the gods, no wine or ale can please my palate well.
This day shall be a day of sport and mirth. Bring cups of wine, let's welcome our new prince.
I am afraid lest my behaviour be too rustic.
Dost thou not know Philargurus, his son? He's Callimela's brother.
Hallelujah. Is he so? Here, youngest youth of youth, I am betrothed unto thy sister, whom I mean to wed.
Give me thine hand. How doth my father's servant, Grunnio?
Thee, Timon, we elect as sovereign, prince and commander of these bacchanals. What laws doth thou ordain? Peace, ho a while.
That this our compotation may have a prosperous event, we will and command whole hogsheads to be emptied, platters filled, none to depart, unless he first obtain leave of the prince. We also do enact that all hold up their heads and laugh aloud, drink much at one draught, breathe not in their drink, that none go out to piss, that none do spew in any corner. He that shall offend in any one of these shall wear infixed upon his hat an ass's ears, and drink nothing but sour wine with lees for 3 days apiece.
This act
This
we
act we
ratify. Confirm.
Allow.
I think my father's bath transgressed these laws. He nothing drinks but lees.
What, thy father? He is not worthy to exchange old shoes, but thou art noble and king of good fellows.
Father, he no more shall be my father. I am a prince. I scorn and renounce him.
Lollio, I drink to thee this whole one.
Were it a whole hogshead, I would pledge thee. What if I drink too? Fill them to the brim. Where's be he that shall marry my sister? I'll drink this to thee supernaculum.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's, yes, it's yourself. You reply in the doubling scheme.
To beg your pardon. This we do call Athens. Whatever.
Yes, he quotes after a Latin tag, there's a Greek tag. That's basically what's going on there.
Sound, music, we will dance.
Sounding of music.
We'll celebrate the feast of Bacchus to make thee prince. I crown thee with this bowl.
Now, as I live, this is the most noble ale. Lord, what a sound is this sounds in my ears.
Come, let us dance. I love this dancing well.
And they dance.
I'll put my shoes off, lest they make a noise.
Enough, Lollio. Art thou dry?
I prithee give me some of that red ale. Soldier, canst drink?
Wine's valor's whetstone. That made me a soldier.
Thou orator, thou seemst to me too sad. I'll drown thy sadness in this sea of wine.
A cynic douche of the part for the whole. Oh, again, Obba, fill full or fulfill the cap.
In the Ganges Isles, I 30 rivers saw filled with sweet nectar.
Oh, dainty lyre.
30 rivers more with Alicante, 30 hills of sugar, ale flowed from the rocks, wine from the trees, which we call muscadine.
If it please Jove, I will transfer plants that same tree into my garden.
It's not fine swimming in such a river.
I could be drowned in such pleasant waves. The house runs round and takes heed lest the wine fall.
That shall be my care. Take heed lest thou fall.
What if the sky fall?
Poor men shall eat larks.
So think I, and I'll eat rails and bunting.
Why sleeps the cup? Why doth it not walk round? Thou a commander and forget thy place?
I will, and command thee, Eutrapelus, to cover Lollio's head with thy hat, and thou, Hermogenes, lend him thy cloak.
I lend to him my cloak?
So we command.
I care not much. My clothes without my cloak are trim enough to make the people gaze. Take heed thou soil it not.
Gelasimus, gird Lollio with thy sword.
Now, by Jove, I hate these ridiculous asses whose brains contain not 1 ounce of wit.
He wants a coat.
Oh, noble Lollio! Oh, brave Lollio!
Thrice noble, thrice resplendent Lollio.
Lollio!
Into thy hands my empire I resign.
Am I a prince, then?
What dost thou command?
Bring me a cup. I'm as dry as dust. Thou shalt my butler be.
What should I be?
My butler too. All shall be my butlers. What, can ye sing? Sing, sing, I, Lollio, your prince wills and commands it.
We must obey. Who doth begin?
This art, Hermogenes, doth appertain to thee.
Obba, stand thou on my right hand and thy flagon.
There lives a lass in the next town called Sophronie,
Smile sweetly when I lay her down. Blithe and bonny, blithe and bonny.
She is not like some foolish elf. She will take up her clothes herself. Ha ha, he, ha ha, he, ha ha, ha ha.
Someone is muted. Hermogenes.
Oops. She alone is amiable, my Sophronie, my Sophronie.
She alone is tractable.
Text might be missing
Text
here,
missing.
but I would go with my Sophronie, my Sophronie.
Sophronie.
She is not angry, touch her lips, or else descend between her hips.
Ha ha ha, he,
ha,
he.
he,
She's my
ha,
girl,
he,
my
ha,
Sophronie.
She wears a smock down to her waist, my Sophronie, my Sophronie.
She hath but one, and that is lace. Give her money, give her money.
Wears a gown down to her small. She has but one, and that is all.
Ha ha ha,
he,
he's my girl, my Sophronie.
Saith cobblers black and juice of botany, mix hitherto into of crop 6 ounces. 'Tis present remedy against itch of hogs.
Lollio.
It also takes away the mange from dogs.
Lollio?
Prince.
A little more good ale.
Bring the cup, Obba.
Where are ye all, my butlers? Follow me, I will conduct ye to my father's house. Follow your prince, follow me in order. Eutrapelus, thou shalt my ensign bear. Display the flagon as it were a flag. I am Achilles. Ye my Martimindons, follow Achilles. We have levelled Troy, down with the earth. Hector, art thou Hector?
I am Gelasimus, thy brother-in-law.
Hast thou been Hector? I protest, by Jove, I would have bore thee through with this sword.
Exit Lollio, the rest following conga line fashion, probably. Okay, so this is a scene that is all about sort of pace and energy and confusion. We've got a mark, basically. Lollio comes in and they go, ha ha ha, let's play a bit of a practical joke. Let's tell him that we're looking for someone to take over as prince and get him very drunk with this drinking game, which will be familiar to anyone who's gone out on the lash. Yeah, you've got to drink all in one go. Yeah, and don't spew. You don't. Yeah, no breathing.
And you have to pass it around.
Yeah.
They reprimand him for not passing it around at one point.
So they're all getting quite drunk, and they're singing, and there's dancing, and they dress him up in a hat and cloak, and make him their prince, as it were. So yeah.
The drinking song really intrigues me because it seems to be one of these songs where when it's your turn, you have to sing a verse. You have to like improvise a verse. And Lollio seems to just totally drop the ball with a recipe for, because see, cobblers, blacks, and juice of betony, which seems to rhyme with sophrony. And then, yeah, he just seems to drop the ball.
Yeah, it just seems to actually get quite into what this particular thing does, and it also takes away the mange from dogs.
So now we know.
Yeah, so now we know.
So now he believes he's Achilles from the Iliad.
Yes, and goes to poor Gelasimus, art thou Hector? No, I'm not. No, I'm not Hector. Thank you very much. I'm just your brother-in-law. So yeah, we have all these sort of entrances and exits, of which I'm never 100%, because I don't think the last one actually was an exit. I think just Lollio entered and everyone was on. But this script does keep saying that, whereas this one does feel like the exit. Though, to be honest, it depends whether this act structure is meaningful in terms of whether there is an indoor performance with candles and there is a mini break here, or whether they just do a conga line off and conga line straight back on again, which I feel would also work perfectly well, just to indicate some minor passage of time. A lot more drinking has ensued, that they are a lot more drunk now than they were a few minutes ago, if that's where the scene is going. Rachael.
I mean, because you kind of have a song that goes round and round to other people, that it could be you're passing the drink along as this is going on.
Yeah.
And so absolutely shot after this. And I think I put it in the chat because after a certain point, it just sounds like they're talking absolute bollocks.
Yeah, I mean, but it is all structured. It's not like it's just random lines. It is all quite well put together, and the characters are still coming through. I mean, Hermogenes, who sort of thinks he's more upwardly mobile than he actually is, complaining about losing his clothes. Don't soil them. We've still got the stuff from Pseudocheus, who's being tricksy, and we've got Lachus going, oh, I'm gonna, these people are problems. Liza, then Angela.
Well, I've spoken plenty. Let Angela go first.
Okay, Angela.
So, well, I'm just interested that we now have at least 4 people on the stage who aren't who they say they are. So we've got Lachus, who isn't who he says he is. We've got Lollio, who thinks he's a prince and he's not. We've got Hermogenes, who thinks he's acceptable, but he's not. And then we've got Pseudocheus, who's a complete sham. So this is quite exciting. It's quite tricky to work out actually who's who before long.
Yes, because when Gelasimus says, "Aren't you that singer?" Or "Aren't you like that singer?" Oh, you could be his brother, and he's going, "No, no, I am not a singer at all." No. Because he's got given money earlier, and it's gone to his head. In a sense, it's not so much really that he's pretending to be someone else. He's just deluding himself that he's more important than he is, and he's sort of pretending to be someone else, but in that sort of more awkward social encounter kind of way of going, no, it wasn't me. Definitely wasn't me. Liza.
Yeah, just that the through line is there. I mean, a dance happens, and so we don't see that, but we can imagine it that that some of these lines are spoken during the dance, like Lollio's, "I'll put my shoes off lest they make a noise." And then I love Lollio is a precious cinnamon roll. He's like, "I prithee, give me some of that red ale." The joke being his parsimonious father has kept him in the country and never let him come to the city. And he doesn't even know what wine is. He thinks it's ale that's red. Yeah, he's and then they all give him their clothes. This is kind of a trope that people sort of take a naive, usually it's a beggar. Lollio is actually quite well born, but they take this poor naive guy and they give him all their fancy clothes and let him play dress up and tell him he's their prince for a night. And I'm just hoping this doesn't end in too many tears for Lollio.
Yeah, because we know what early modern jokes of this kind, they can get quite violent and mean, really, deep down. So hopefully it doesn't go
save
too bad.
Lollio.
I don't think he'll die or anything, but he might have a really rough time. Tom.
Yeah, I think it's a very colourful scene in so many ways you could stage it. Colourful in costume, colourful in characters, colourful in language. I think it's a nice riot on stage.
Yeah, and that's a sort of sense that, in a way that we can't do now because we don't have enough people and, we're tripping over cues and things, so we're not able to give it its all that it probably deserves. So anyway, we have more. They come back on stage again. Rachael, very briefly, we got a lot to get through.
I don't know. I was going to say that maybe in modern times, because I was thinking like maybe it would be something like a stag do or like, but it kind of reminds me of like Las Vegas or like going to New York, that it's, people when they go, most especially Las Vegas, because even the advertisements that they put out in the US, it's like what happens here stays here, that it's just, or the Hangover movie.
What happens in Athens
I
stays
love
in
that.
Athens.
I could quite see staging a production of this in Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Okay, Act 3, Scene 1. Enter Lollio, Timon, Hermogenes, Eutrapelus, advancing his flagon, Gelasimus, Pseudocheus, and Demeas.
Display the flagon. Where are those Trojans? What do they hide their heads?
Why dost thou reel, Achilles, to and fro like to a ship that's tossed with the waves?
The four winds do bustle in my head. A tempest great is risen in my brains.
I think the ship that carrieth thy wit will suffer shipwreck.
A metaphor worthy of my table book. What, Corneus, fought with Gogamagon, the great Achilles slew a puppy dog.
Sorry. Yes, these same doors have done a great offence.
What?
They did creak. Likes that my conceits.
See, Gelasimus, how brave I am.
Enter Grunnio.
Good gods, whom do I see? What, Lollio, my master's son?
Grunnio, art thou here? Thou wast not here at first.
Art in thy wits?
Thou knowest not who I am, Grunnio?
Why, thou art Lollio.
I laugh you not.
Must we laugh? Ha! Ha! He! What stratagem is to be effected?
This calls me Lollio. I, Achilles, or otherwise am called Pleiades. Oh, the wrath-sing goddess of a son of Pleiades, Achilles.
So speak the Tingitans that inhabit the mountains of Squilmagia.
A curious parenthesis.
Art not thou Lollio, and holds the plough? Didst thou not cut me out this very morn a portion of cheese when I was sent to call thee to thy sister's marriage?
I, Lollio, I hold the plough, I cut. What did I cut thee out of this morn? A portion of cheese? When thou was sent to call me to my sister's marriage. And for a repetition, I ye to witness call my Martymedons. What say ye?
He's Achilles, Achilles.
He's Achilles.
Oh, miracle! Callimela, Blatte, come hither. Lollio is Achilles.
Enter Callimela and Blatte.
Oh, me! What tumult is before my doors?
My lady Mistress Callimela, my queen, withdraw not back your feet.
Say ye, young men, what is't that ye would have?
Ye my Myrmidons, behold, old Hecuba. What, shall we stone her?
My fellow soldiers, this shall be my wife. If she is not fair, how does my Callimela?
Look in her urinal, then thou shalt know.
Let me be gone. I do not love to be a laughing stock.
And sweet love, be not angry. Upon the mountain Paphlagonia there is a stone.
In Athens city is an arrant fool.
That's called
Gelasimus.
Why blind ye not old Hecuba? That bitch.
I, old Hecuba. I'm Blatte, the nurse. What ails the drunken fool?
Timon, why are your eyes fixed so to the ground?
I feel a wound.
Oh, Jupiter forbid!
Eutrapelus, this is not in Jove's power. I subject am to Venus' tyranny. These eyes betrayed my heart. These were the gates and only way where love first entered in. I saw and loved, and must my love enjoy.
What sudden metamorphosis is this?
I love, extremely love.
What? Callimela?
Very said.
My sparrow, my mow, my sow, my honey, my coney, my cow. Achilles is dirty, a little more ale. This house does seem to walk. What? Have they feet? Or doth it ride on horseback? Grunnio, I am not in the clouds.
Hence, Callimela, Philargurus, thy father is at hand.
Exeunt Callimela and Blatte. Enter Philargurus of another door.
I nothing see. My eyes have lost their light.
What company is this before my doors? O me accursed! Mine hidden gold is found. What shall I do? I am undone. Why hang I not myself? Woe and alas! I too long have lived who must be forced to end my days in poverty. Ye thieves, what seek ye here?
Lollio, thy father.
My father hanged himself. I'm Achilles. I have this day 3,000 Trojans slain.
Ye thieves, restore what ye have ta'en away.
Old man, be patient.
I'll bind ye hand and foot in iron chains. Run, Grunnio, call for the people's help.
Thou old, outworn, worm-eaten animal, what wouldst thou have? I am great Achilles. Unless thou kill me in the heel, Achilles will ne'er be slain.
Lord, Lord, what a strange madness may this be?
Fear not, Philargurus. Thou hast come, thou hast no cause. I am thy son-in-law, all things are safe. No man hath touched the threshold of thy house.
Oh, but my son is mad.
Hast not thou nappy ale? If thou deny, my myrmidons shall ruinate thy house.
To plough, thou slave, that I would have thee do. Gelasimus, withdraw these young men hence. I am afraid and tremble every joint lest they find out my gold.
Give me my cloak, Achilles. It is cold. To bed and sleep.
This bird has lost his borrowed feathers. I pray ye also, my myrmidons, pull of my duplet. I'll go sleep a while.
Good night,
night,
brave
brave
general.
general.
Good night.
Farewell.
This flagon shall serve me as a pillow.
Thou drunken knave, I'll wake thee with this staff.
Hector, oppress me not while I do sleep. I'll presently arise to fight.
Bear him in, Grunnio. Hath wine subdued thy head and feet at once?
Prithee, Obba, 1 cup, but 1 cup more.
Thou art drunk, thou thief.
Thou list, thou rascal. Where are Armageddon? Help, Achilles!
And they exit. Oh, well, it could have gone worse, frankly, for Lollio. He had a good night, but sadly, Dad arrived to spoil the fun. There were some lovely lines in there. My sparrow, my marrow, my sow, my honey, my coney, my cow. Bless him in his cups. Meanwhile, plot happened. I don't know if anyone noticed, but some plot happened in the midst of that, as Timon has seen Gelasimus is intended and gone, Fwah. So, yeah. Conflict may occur. There's bad things might be afoot between there. Also, I quite like the Pseudocheus' ongoing travel log. So speak the Tygidians that inhabit the mountains of Skrilmagia. Coming to the next season of Doctor Who soon. Rachael.
So I guess 2 things. That whole thing about him giving the travel logs as he's just plastered. I mean, it brings his nonsense to another level, because you already have these. I think I'm remembering now last time, because I was either him or the other guy that was saying a bunch of lies and parasite-like nonsense, where there's so many names of places that are hard to say that the drunker he gets, the more silly they seem to become. And then also, like, if you were to get your stomach pumped in the early modern, how do they pump people's stomachs? Do they just hand them Epicac or a blister or what?
That's a very good question. I suspect they just roll them into a ditch and hope for the best. I don't know if there's a formal process of dealing with drunkards. It's a really good question. I have no idea. I've not stumbled across any kind of specific, for alcohol poisoning. If it's gone that far, beyond, have a glass of water and keep one foot on the floor. It's a really good question. Okay, Angela.
Well, just for interest's sake, I mean, the best way to make, in the early modern period, the best way to overcome too much alcohol was to be sick as possible. And sometimes it was seen as a cure for melancholy, to drink as much as possible and make yourself so drunk that you were sick, because that would help to disrupt your mood and bring you back to normality.
I think I remember reading, at least in the translations of some Greek poetry that I've read, that the followers of Bacchus used to wear ivy crowns, I think, or possibly vine leaves. Anyway, they wore crowns of some kind of foliage that was supposed to prevent hangovers. I think. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, you can tell they bought that online, can't you? Yeah, definitely cures hangovers, mate. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just wear that. Okay, we're going to go further into what's possibly the advancement of plot after all this frivolity. Maybe there might be more plot. We shall see. Act 3, Scene 2. Enter Philargurus, Callimela, Blatte, and Grunnio.
What, shall I suffer such corruption of manners in my son? Death, he shall feel his father's fury. What, do I arise careful before the crowing of the cock, and scorn no gain, no, not from the dunghill, that when I die, my son may be left rich? I'll rather hide my treasure in the earth, where neither sun, nor moon, nor human eyes have ever peeped.
Enter Lachus.
Save you, Philargurus.
What wouldst thou have? Be brief, or else be gone.
My master's wishes all the gods thy friends.
I, all of them his foes, whoe'er he be. Is this thy errand?
You're too choleric. Choleric. I come a joyful messenger to thee. Timon doth love thy daughter fervently. We'll take her without dowry, if you please. What say you? He hath also sent these gems to make access to Callimela's love.
Oh, happy me! Will Timon take, sayest thou, my daughter without dowry?
So it is.
Callimela,
What's your pleasure, father?
Venus doth favour thee above the rest. A second person doth desire thy love, a golden youth. Reject, Gelasimus. This is far richer, and thee, Callimela, will take without a dowry.
Who doth possess most gold shall me possess. Let woman's love be never permanent.
Timon doth consecrate these costly gems unto the altars of thy beauty.
I take his gems and send him back my love. Let that be like a gem.
A liberal young man, I do protest that to his sweetheart send such costly gifts. What color is his beard?
Peace, old dotard.
Old dotard. Why, old dotard? I have yet 2 teeth left, see? What, are my kisses dry? Try, soldier, or go I with a staff? Or am I 80 years of age? Why, then, call you me old dotard.
Peace, I recant. Thou shalt be my girl.
Yes, I am a girl.
Tell Timon I am his.
Timon is blessed. How well do beauty and mild love accord.
Without a dowry, that, remember that.
I speak the truth.
Grunnio, make broth of these 2 fishes.
And some sort of fishes are exchanged. Exeunt
Sprats.
Philargus,
They're really
Callimela.
small, cheap fishes.
Yeah. Exeunt Philargus, Callimela, Blatte, and Grunnio, leaving Lachus.
So are my master's goods consumed this way. We'll bring him to the house of poverty. O Jove, convert him. lest he feel too soon too much the road of desperate misery before his chests be emptied, which he had left by his forefathers filled with gold. Well, howsoever fortune play her part, Lachus from Timon never shall depart.
Exit Lachus. Act 3, Scene 3, Eutrapelus, Gelasimus, Pseudocheus, and Paedio.
What has become of all thy wonted mirth, thy odd conceits and smiles? Pluck up thy heart. Dost thou forget what must be done next month? Thou shalt the sept among the pygmies sway.
Begone, I am melancholy by Jove.
What aileth thee?
I will not tell, if love himself should ask.
We'll help thee.
If anything can help thee that doth grow upon the mountains of Armenia, in Dacia, or Tingitania, or in the Mediterranean Sea, it shall be had forthwith. Why speakst thou not?
There's no help found for that, my malady. None beneath the antipodes themselves. Leave me unto myself. I by myself will walk the woods alone.
Wilt thou not sup?
Nor sup, nor dine.
What? Art thou so perverse, and wilt not tell the cause of this thy griefs?
Oh, urge him no more. He of his own accord will utter all unasked.
So the gods love me, I do nothing see that this fond foolish girl could blame in me. I am not red-haired, I am no dwarf. What then can she dislike? Are my palms dry? Am I not a gentleman by descent? Am I not rich enough? What man is there lives in all Athens richer than myself? Am I a fool? My brains, there they are, I know them well. I am no fool or ass. Well, be it so. Use thy will, Callimela, despise me and reject me.
What is this?
He fears lest he hath loved in vain. This day he saw some jewels sent to Callimela. Timon is his co-rival.
Up, cast me off, I say. Allure, entice to thee thy time, but do not give success to these your nuptials. Yet unrevenged I will not let it pass. Gelasimus hath learnt both a sword and hand could wield his sword.
What, will he challenge Callimela to fight?
To wake a sleeping lion, what it is. I'll make thee know I'll meditate revenge, worthy myself. Tomorrow, armed with shield, I will provoke thee to encounter me.
Oh, valiant champion! This Theseus did when he conquered Hippolyta.
Gelasimus, but here, Gelasimus, suppose that Callimela in a rage come with drawn sword threatening thy death.
Oh, thou sayest very well. These women are a pestiferous kind of animal. Oh, 'twas safer fighting with an host of men. Therefore, for me, let her enjoy her love.
Fie, coward, fie! Fearest thou woman's strength? While I was last among the Amazons, I slew 2,000 women at one time.
Did you so? Go, Paedio, in my name, tell Callimela, I'll combatize with her. I'll fight by Jove.
What dost thou mean to do? Wilt do thyself a mischief? On veil, break with a slip a Hercules' own head.
Stay, Paedio, stay. Though I am strong, I am not yet so strong as Hercules. I will not fight by Jove.
What, dost thou grieve at Callimela's loss? Who worthy art of Venus to thy wife?
To make him a commuted mulciber.
Gelasimus, wilt that I seek thee out a princely wife? Then sail along with me to the Antipodes. There the king's daughter shall be in love with thee at the first sights, if I but say the word.
Now as I live, this is most admirable. Ha! Ha! He! How this rejoices me!
Foolisher than foolishness itself.
Aye, Callimela, I scored our eye by Jove. I prithee tell me, where's the wooden horse that may transport us to the Antipodes?
As yet, he is in the Ionian Sea. I expect his coming every day.
He, the king's own daughter of the Antipodes. He, choice her bad, I do not know myself. Daughter of the Antipodes at first sight.
Yes, if he say but the word.
My master doth excel Democritus. He hath a spleen more petulant by far.
Go, Paedio, to Priam, inquire if any ship have arrived this day from the Ionian Sea. And meanwhile, in mirth at home, we will the time beguile.
And they exit. So we've got two scenes. We've got Timon sending his servant to woo Callimela with gems, and that goes very effectively. And Gelasimus is lamenting his loss and thinking of taking arms, but not very effectively. Two contrasty scenes, lots of interesting lines. I don't think Callimela's being exactly portrayed here in the best of lights. I think, but we had established that diamonds were a girl's best friend. I think in previous scenes, and certainly she wasn't that keen on Gelasimus at all last time. I don't know how keen she is on Timon, but she's definitely quite keen on the payment there. Angela.
Surely a little unusual to challenge your estranged fiancé to a duel.
Yes, it's not a duel with Timon, it's a duel with her. It's a really weird sort of thing. I mean, there's a whole strangeness of things going on there. Rachael.
I mean, that's got to be part of the joke, though, because who expects him to say that? I mean, it's a whole different comedic element to say he's going to go after her, because you have you just have that one beat there and you hit it, and then you'd have the audience.
Yeah. We've got good work from Blatte again. Always nice to hear from Blatte. We enjoyed Blatte very much last time. Very horny is Blatte. Has yet 2 teeth left. At least minimum. I think we can infer there might be more. But yeah, not impressed. Not impressed with Callimela there. Okay. Any other business before we move on? Any other thoughts? Okay, let's see where this goes. I don't see it going well. I mean, Lachus, who's trying to keep his master on the straight and narrow, he's disguised, remember, so his master doesn't know he's actually Lachus. He's trying to. He can see where the wind is blowing. Not going to go well. Okay, Act 3, Scene 4. Enter Obba and the musicians. Obba bringing a basket of flowers.
Ye fiddlers, follow me. There, take your place. If that your throats are dry, I'll liquor 'em. I'll strew these flowers on the ground. This day my master must be married. If I be not well tippled before evening, I, Obba, will ne'er drink Catholan more.
Enter, Grunnio.
Oh, Jove, what do I see? Use ghosts to walk before our doors? Whose spirit art thou? Speak. I thee adjure by Proserpina's head, by Acheron, by Styx and Phlegethon, and by the dismal boat that Charon rows, by triple-headed Cerberus, by...
Lord Obba, what meanest thou by this? Dost thou not know lean Massalenti Grunnio?
I verily did take thee for some sprite. Thou looks like an anatomy. Methinks the winds should whirl thee up into the air.
That I prevent by wearing leaden soles.
By Jove, thou art transparent. If I stand behind thy back, I can see through thy nose.
Thou seest what it is to live on brown bread crusts, to drink dead vinegar and lodge in straw.
I am almost dissolved into laughter. Art thou not Famine's son?
I rather think Famine to be my son, me her mother. These 10 months I have borne her in my womb, and hope to be delivered this feast.
What doth Philargurus at home?
He tells how many spiders are about his house, lest any one of us steal one of them, and in a vessel charily doth keep the urine of his hungry family, and sells it to the dyers when he sleeps, ties it a pair of bellows to his windpipe.
Why so?
Lest in his sleep he lose part of his breath.
Oh, thrifty man.
Wilt suffer me, after the feast is done, to lick the greasy plasters?
I'll fill thy punch full, never fear thy guts.
I see my master coming. Obba, where shall I hide me? What, in the buttery?
Follow me.
Oh, how my teeth do water.
2 servants there exchanging the usual, my masters don't feed me. One of them, their masters, is, of course, a miser, and the other one's going, my God, you look like death. I can see through you. Fun stuff. Liza.
I wonder if that indicates, I mean, we know there was an actor working, I forget when this is. Rob, when is this play?
About 1602.
That would fit. There was an actor, I think it was Sinclair, who was known for being tall and really, really thin and bony. He looked like a skeleton. Sinclair or Sly. Anyway, we know there was a guy who was really thin, and I wonder if this would indicate casting in some way.
It might do. We have no idea, of course, who wrote it or for what institution it. So it may or may not. Rachael.
It's 1604. James comes in, right?
1603.
1603. Can I ask, during Elizabeth's time, did they still do Lent, or was that considered like a Catholic holiday?
Ooh, I will. I don't know the precise nature of how that generally functions. But broadly speaking, I think yes. But
What was the question again?
the nature of Lenten practice.
Oh yeah. And what do you want to know?
Were they still did they still do it during Elizabeth's time, like during her reign?
No,
Oh.
no, because the country goes Protestant, certainly by 1578, and so really you don't observe quite in the same way as the Catholics did, but you still do only eat fish on Good Friday. You do know about Lent. You might well give something up and so on. So the ways in which it's done isn't quite the same.
It's certainly less formal in that sense.
Yeah, the only reason I asked that is because I mean, it's totally, from what you just said, it's totally disproven, but I was just wondering if this would be something like Lenten, and it could be something you could easily do because everybody was hungry in that moment, but no.
No, it's just servants are always hungry. And their servants too, particularly miserly people. Anyway, we need to move on. We've got a lot of text still to get through. Act 3, Scene 5. Enter Timon, Callimela, Philargurus, Gelasimus, Hermogenes, Pseudocheus, Eutrapelus, Demeas, Lachus, Blatte. We're all on.
So I embrace thee in my arms, who art my life and light.
Oh, how such sweet embraces I desire, who without thee am neither life nor light.
She sees not me as yet. If once she did, I know she would put finger in the eye.
Thou art my Titan, I thy Cynthia. From thy bright beams my beauty is derived.
And the king's daughters of the Antipodes speak so completely.
She hath a parrot, can speak more elegantly.
That is wild.
My life, why do we thus delay the time? I'll plight to thee my troth in Pallas temple. Art thou well pleased with this, my honey?
What pleases Timon cannot me displease.
Timon, thou hast a wife more rigorous. She is the only comfort of my age.
Thou list, thou thinkest thy gold a sweeter.
Let it be lawful for me, most honourable, not honourable pair, a while to remain and detain, legate and obligate your ears with my words, neither asperse nor inspersed with the flaw or raunt or roar of eloquence. Ye are both like in nature and in nurture, alike in genius, and both alike in ingenious. What Timon refuses, Camilla refuses. What Camilla wills, Timon also wills, so that Camilla may not Timon's be but Timon's Camilla, and Timon but Camilla's Timon.
Hold thou thy peace, thy prattling orator. Hence with thy tropes, let's hie to the temple. Hermogenes, out of thy greasy throat, sing us some sweet epithalmion.
He'll croak it like a frog, I know. I fear lest this extravagant singing fiddler hath quite forgot his art.
I? Sing among the people? What? I? Is not Hermogenes a noble? My page shall act my part, and if he sing not a song of sweeter harmony than Orpheus, I nevermore will satin breeches wear.
And the musicians play, and Hermogenes' page now sings with backing singer all.
A fair maiden creature, than honey far more sweet, whom the gods for feature might well desire to greet, whose beauty Venus might envy as fair more bright, hath felt God Cupid's dart that pricked her at the heart. Love's victor, hence the cries of your men pierce the skies.
Hymen, Hymenaeus, oh, Hymen, Hymenaeus.
Let Hymen's joyful saffron weed assist them always at their need.
Hymen, Hymenaeus, oh, Hymen, Hymenaeus.
Let Phoebus hide his light, and day be turned to night, that the new bride now may the bridegroom's flames allay. Let Cupid's straw flowers Venus augment love art.
Hymen, Hymenaeus, oh, Hymen, Hymenaeus.
Hymen's joyful saffron weed assist them always in their need.
Hymen, Hymenaeus, oh, Hymen, Hymenaeus.
Enter a shipwrecked sailor.
Immortal gods, why mock ye mortals thus? Where shall I find Timon, wretched Timon?
Who with such clamours interrupts our joys? Speak, whatsoe'er it is.
I bring thee heavy news. Thy ships are drowned in Neptune's waves. Not one of them arrived.
The gods forbid.
Neptune, thy foe, hath wrought thee this mishap, and swallowed up thy gems in his vast womb, and never will restore them back again.
Exit sailor.
At length I know what misery doth mean.
Hence, Callimela, hence from that beggar's side.
Thou wouldst not have me to thy son-in-law? Or doth it yet repent thee?
Give me my daughter. Why dost thou clasp her? She's none of thine.
Doth Callimela say so?
I love Timon rich, not Timon poor. Thou art not now the man thou wast before.
This is my wisdom. This she learned of me.
Wealth being lost, the love which was remains. Why dost thou so inconstantly revolt? Behold the light of Hymenaeus' lamp. Why turnest thou face away from me? What, am I such an eyesore now to thee?
Away, away, thou poor 3-farthing jack. Thou fag end of the people, get thee hence. Touch not my daughter, thou.
Callimela!
Thus goods and love are shipwrecked both at once. Come, I'll receive thee into favor. Come.
Base poverty doth follow luxury. Get home and live by mending of old shoes. Spend not whole days in drunken Bacchus cups. Go home, thou slave, or here with hunger pined belch out thy soul. I hate a man that's poor. He's worse than any homicide.
O thou, whoe'er thou art, that dost dispose of pains in hell, dismiss thou Tantalus. This fellow is more worthy to endure dry scorching thirst, and yet to stand for aye up to the chin in water.
Why dost thou not lament, Eutrapelus? My eyes are of pumice stone. I cannot.
Tomorrow, Callimela, I will sail to the king's cities. Expect not me, thy suitor, any more.
Doth no small sparkle of thy love remain?
Hence, my sweet girl, vouchsafe him not one word. He's worse than a crocodile or a serpent, nay, worse than the devil himself.
Why so?
Because he's poor.
Exeunt Philargurus, Callimela, and Blatte.
Ha! Ha! A melancholy walks he to and fro. Thou shalt if thou wilt mend my old shoes.
I will not see my master thus abused. I'd rather die. What dost? Whom speak'st thou to? Hence, least thou feel my choleric revenge, and quickly to be gone. I say, thou fool, dost thou deride my master's miseries?
Thou knowest not how I hate these soldiers that look so furious. Come, let us go. I am even sick to see his face, ma.
We'll go along with thee. At thy master's hard misfortune I lament.
Command my love to be at his command.
Exeunt Gelasimus, Pseudocheus, Eutrapelus, Hermogenes, and Demeas.
The shadows all are gone. No sun shines here. Master, why muse you thus? What think you on? Why are your eyes so fixed on the earth? Pull up your spirits. All adversity by patience is made more tolerable.
Great Father of the gods, what wickedness, what impious sin have I committed? What, have I pissed upon my father's urn? Or have I poisoned my forefathers? What have I deserved? An innocent.
His countenance betrays his vexed soul.
O Jove, have I thy altar seldom visited, or have I been too proud, or yet denied to succour poor men in necessity? Not this, no that, ye gods have vowed my fall. Thou hast vowed it, Jove, against me then. Discharge whole volleys of thy thunderclaps, and strike me thorough with thy thunderbolts, or with a sudden flash of lightning, destroy me quick from thy supernal throne. I know not how to suffer poverty, who have so oft relieved the poor with gold.
Leave off complaints. Grief augments misery.
I am besides myself, I know not how. Hymen, why, Hymen, are thy lamps extinct? Come, light them once again, my bride's at hand. A fond dream Timon never shall reject. My Callimela complains. I stay too long. I come, my light. In dreams I'll come to thee.
Where rush you headlong? Master, Callimela, hath left thee basely and ingratefully, and hath despised thee. Now thou art poor.
Thou speakst the truth. She's gone. She's gone indeed. O most inconstant sex of womankind, proud, cruel, stiff-necked, and more monstrous than any monster bred in Africa. Is this their faithful love? The vows they make? Ye cursed furies, thou, Megara, help to augment my fury.
Comfort yourself. You have some friends yet left.
Yet possible a poor man should have friends?
Adversity cannot part faithful friends.
He is deceived that looks for faith on earth. Faith is in heaven and scorns mortal men. I am compelled by necessity to prove my friends, thus poor and destitute. I go to seek relief from other men.
And exit Timon. So, with one turn of fortune's wheel, Timon is poor. Yes, all the boats are gone. It's all gone. It's all Neptune's not on your side. On his wedding day as well. Look, there was a lovely song, and it's all gone wrong. Yeah, Liza.
I mean, this is a wonderfully theatrical scene, but I'm spying a plot hole because at the beginning of the play, Timon's rents come in, and it's like a big sack of gold, which, yeah, he spent this month, but presumably there'll be more next month or next quarter. His fortune wasn't totally tied up in these ships, was it? I mean, I guess it makes more theatrical drama if the ships were everything. But
well, we don't know what mortgage position he's got in those properties. He might be very overstretched, and he might have had to have sold it to buy somebody a hat. I think you're right that there might be some minor tweaks to do, but then that might not be a plot hole. That might be a plot point that will be followed up later. I don't know. I have no idea. But it's a good point. Rachel.
I mean, he maybe if he's got a credit line or if he's got creditors, that money might go there, or maybe he's got a mortgage something, or maybe he's done the worst thing and he's taken out options on those ships saying they'd come in and they didn't come in.
I mean, it doesn't say that he's destitute. He's just not rich per se, and that's the point about Philargurus, who's just nay, worse than the devil himself. Why so? Because he's poor. I don't think he's necessarily going to die, but his poverty. But he's not in a great way financially. Anyway, we have 2 more scenes to do, and we need to crack on through them. So, Act 4, Scene 1. Enter Timon at one door, Demeas and Eutrapelus at another.
Unhappy Timon doth salute his friends.
Whom speaks he to? What, dost thou know this man?
I do confess that I have seen his face, but where I cannot tell.
Afflicted and forsaken on each side, and left to the wide world, I ye beseech to give me house room. Only this I ask, a hole wherein to hide my misery.
Art thou a stranger or an Athenian? What country? What's thy name?
Know'st thou not? Ah, Demeas, know'st thou not? This face, these hands thou heretofore didst know. Am I so soon forgotten, wholly changed? And is there nothing now of Timon left?
Thou brazen face, I ne'er saw thee before.
This fellow would insinuate, I think.
Where hide ye your heads, ye heavenly powers? They do despise their needy friend, yet live and breath a guilty soul. O supreme Jove, why doth thy right hand cease to punish sin? Strike one of these with thunder from above, and with thy lightning revenge my cause. Strike which thou wilt, thy hand it cannot err.
How tragical he is.
O ye ungrateful, have I freed ye from bonds in prison to requite me thus? To trample o'er me in misery? True Scythians brood, cruel, ingrateful, Ye make me live in woe and heaviness. Tell me, oh, tell me, ye perfidious, where is your faith vowed of your own accord? Where are your vows so lightly promised? What, are they all gone with the wind?
Come hither, I will give thee this one groat, but thou must publish my munificence.
Thus I return it back into thy face. Ne'er bend thy brows, proud threats I do not fear.
Come, let us hence. This man is lunatic.
Look to thy brains, lest thy penuline thou wax more mad. Farewell.
Exeunt Demeas and Eutrapelus, saying, Timon, frankly, Timon, we don't give a damn.
Fire, water, sword, confound ye! Let the crows feed on your pecked out entrails and your bones want a sepulchre. Worthy, oh worthy ye, that thus have I falsified your faith to me to dwell in Phlegeton. Rush on me, heaven, so that on them it rush. Mount Caucasus fall on my shoulders, so on them it fall. Pain I respect not. Holy justice, if thou inherit heaven, descend at once, even all at once, unto a wretch's hands. Make me an arbiter of ghosts in hell, that when they shall with an unhappy pace descend the silent house of Erebus, they may feel pains that never tongue can tell. But where am I? I do lament in vain. No earth as yet relieved a wretch's pain. I am well pleased to go unto the ghosts. Open thou earth and swallow me alive. I'll headlong tumble into Styx his lake. Wilt thou not open earth at my request? Must I survive against my will? Then here shall be my place, who on the earth lies. He can fall no lower than the same, I see.
Timon lies down. We go straight into Act 4, Scene 2. Abyssus at one door, Gelasimus, Pseudocheus, and Paedio at another door enter.
Why stayed you thus? The gold is all ready.
Ooh, we seem to have lost sound from Greg.
Is that any better?
Yes.
Some reason it decided to go to the other microphone. Right, worshipful Abyssus, be content. I spent this whole day with the notary. This paper doth confirm to thee my lands here. Take it on fine. I'll go and find far better among the antipodes.
There the earth brings forth among the wheat ears of gold and silver.
I want my spectacles. Read it, Gelasimus.
Be it known unto all men by these presents that I, Gelasimus of the Golden Hill, gentleman, son and heir of Rupacunda of the islands lately deceased, have granted, bargained, and sold to Abyssus citizen of Athens in the parish of Ribold 1,000 acres of land with the appurtenances, all goods and chattels, movable and immovable, alive and dead, of kinds and condition whatsoever, in the possession of any whosoever, in any place wheresoever, which bargain and sale I, Gelasimus, warrantize to the aforesaid Abyssus, his heirs, and assigns against all nations forever, by these presents, in witness hereof I have hereunto set my hand and seal, and in the 1069th Olympiad.
'Tis well. An old bird is not caught with chaff. He that will cheat me must arise betimes. Here, take this gold. I will possess thy land and manor houses.
What's this? He also sell his heritage, more worthy far, O Jove, of poverty. That let him feel and bear me company.
Thou, Pseudocheus, shalt the one half bear, and I the other.
Commit the whole to me. I'll not impose so great a burthen on thee.
Gelasimus gives him the gold.
What shall we travail through the sad city where the candles walk and cats play on the fiddle? How I desire to see such pretty sight.
Farewell, farewell. Happy be thy voyage. I'll go take possession of my land.
Farewell, most bright Abyssus. The next month I'll send thee letters from the Antipodes.
Exit Abyssus.
Paedio!
What, master?
Go fetch the tailors prepare new clothes for this my journey. Thou mayst also bid the barber come, that he with his razor shave off the exorbitant hairs of my beard.
Oh, you need no barber. Bearded men are there more amiable.
Is it so? Buy me some honey to anoint my cheeks, to make my beard grow to perfection.
Peace, peace. Here comes Lollio's Hecuba.
Enter Blatte.
Save ye, young men. May all youthful things be safe and sound. Thou art Gelasimus, unless my eyes deceive my sight.
I am. What wouldst thou have with me? I know thee well. Speak broadly, fair and fearful Hecuba. I fear lest she provoke me on to fight in Callimela's name. Speak out, I say!
You well do know the frailty of our sex.
By Jove, I will not fight, for I am urged this openly, I tell thee.
Affections soon stir up in our breasts.
I fear the event.
This I do know, who, when I was a girl, felt what the vows of young men could prevail with flattering tongues. Callimela, therefore.
And what a Callimela? What will she do?
She doth beseech thee to renew thy suit, and with the bellows of affection blow up the cinders of thy former love, and to forget all wrongs.
Love me.
I know she doth, and that not vulgarly.
I will consider it with myself.
O woman, more inconstant than the wind, the weather, feathers, or Jove's thunderbolt. Thou heretofore didst show me a fair face, and now by turns dost vary with time.
It is decreed. I verily do grieve that I am called elsewhere by the fates. My love is gone beyond the seas, where I must be espoused to a princely maid. But least she wholly should consume through grief melt into tears, I'll breathe to her one kiss before I go to a shipboard.
Thou truly art a kind young man, and dost what doth befit thee.
What ox is this that lieth on the ground?
What's that to thee?
Rise, arise.
I will not.
Art thou a fool?
But art thou wise?
Farewell.
Be hanged.
Ah! Ah! Eh! How concisely the rogue speaks.
'Tis Timon. Do ye not know him?
It were a thing indeed ridiculous to know a man that's poor. Still take heed lest thou catch a cough. Here you said, the ground's too cold a bed to lie upon.
Nothing.
Thy hearing, therefore, is not good.
And yet I am not deaf.
What's this?
Something.
What's this something?
Nothing. I say nothing. All things are made nothing.
Thou be a son-in-law unto a king, and yet vouchsafe to talk with such a one. He hath not wherewith to buy a halter.
So, thou abominable father of lies, what mighty spoils and triumphs hast thou gained, thus to despise a wretch in misery?
Why stay you thus, Gelasimus, to send by me the kiss you promised Callimela? Go ye into the house.
Go thou before old age is reverend will follow thee.
That's kindly done to put me in before. A kiss and that together will do well.
Great Jove, confound ye.
Bark not so, thou dog.
Eggs, you and Blatte, Gelasimus, Pseudocheus, and Paedio.
Thou, nature, take from me this human shape and may transform into a dire serpent or grisly lion, such a one as yet ne'er Libya or Africa hath seen, or else into a crocodile or boar, what not? And with my basilican eyes may I kill all I see, that at the length these base ingrateful persons may descend the pit of hell. I thus would be revenged.
And there we're going to pause with Timon being a happy camper. Yeah, but there's some lovely stuff going on here. I'm fascinated by this. Gelasimus basically, he wants to go on his journey. He's going to liquidate all his assets. He really wants to go to travail through that city where the candles walk and the cats play on the fiddle.
Well, to be fair, I'd want to go there too.
I know. I have to say, Pseudocheus is, has sold a really good old place here. I'm looking forward to this. And I do love the way that Timon's just lying there, and it's just what's this ox that lieth on the ground? What's it to you? What's that to thee? It's just that made me laugh. It's just I like that very much. It's and Blatte continues to be a delight. Blatte is just going, you promised a kiss for your mistress. Come on, pucker up. I'm not going until I've had me kiss. You said it. There's some great stuff in here. In the parish of Ribold, I like that as well. I think that's there continues to be lovely little patches in this, and of course we've got the Timon has now been completely rejected by everyone. We have this little moment. This before Act 4 seems like a very good place a modern production will put an interval. It does feel like this actually, between Act 3 and Act 4, this feels like it's definitely an indoor show. Where intervals are a thing. It definitely feels it's designed for that kind of space. We randomly have the Gone with the Wind. So that's another random bit of strange crossovers. Any thoughts on this this closing scene for this session? Timon's getting some nice speeches of being a miserable sod. Anyone? I'm vamping away here.
Oh, hi, cat.
Rachel's cat lifting.
I like the cat. Basically, we're seeing something. There's a social stigma. If there's a beggar and you know the beggar, you can't show that you know them, because then the rest of your acquaintance will be tainted. There's a social, so saying that were a thing indeed ridiculous to know a man that's poor, than to, so it's not that he doesn't recognize him, it's that he can't show that he recognizes him.
Oh yes, no, they're deliberately shunning him, yes. Yeah.
Gelasimus is I probably rather overdid it, but I love his ha-ha-he's. I'm sure they were probably done as real laughs, but I just love the fact, I love giving them a sort of almost cynical ha-ha. But yeah, no, really, really good. And I felt sorry for him at the end of that.
Yeah, this con has gone as far as it can. Pseudocheus is just going, the gold's very heavy, isn't it? I'll carry that for you. It'll be fine, safe with me. Yes, I'm sure it is. Okay, final thoughts then. We're 2/3 of the way through this text. We've got one more session to go, and I'm sure it's all going to turn out lovely. I think generally it's full of life, it's full of energy, there's some great quotes. It's really doing the comedy business. There's a lot of good comedy business in this, and I think that in a room with a bit of just getting that dialogue to flow and bounce off itself, it's really gonna do some good guns. Angela, any final thoughts about this?
Well, I agree with you. I think that what's needed to do is speed. So I think once all that dialogue was speeded up, it was good and it was funny. I mean, there was parts where it was brilliant. I love the way the characterizations keep on going right through. You know, these jokes all applying to the different individuals popping up. It's really good. It's really clever. I think it's fab.
Greg, any final thoughts? Oh, you're muted at the moment.
I definitely need to go back and listen to the first recording. I want to say something, but I can't. Yeah, really interesting. I can't say I necessarily think it was a great play if I was watching it on stage. Yeah, but I think it's got some really nice set pieces. Even something as simple as the sailor's arrival, which was very, very short, but actually had a wonderful moment quality to it.
It's a good comedy. I like this comedy. This comedy is funny. I like it when the comedies are funny. It's when you have a comedy and you're just sitting there going, oh, please deliver me a laugh. Please, dear God, give me a laugh. Tom, any final thoughts?
Just like everybody else, it's colourful. Colourful in costume, colourful in scenes, colourful in language, and I think it'd be quite a bright and lively thing. Yeah.
Desna, any final thoughts?
Nothing other than to agree with things that other people have already said. So it kind of felt like it limped a little bit as we were reading it, but I think if we were running full pelt and giving it a lot of welly, it would be fantastic. And I think a lot of the humour is in those rapid exchanges, especially in the drunken, increasingly drunkard scene. I think that could actually be quite funny, but maybe that tells you a bit more than you need to know about my sense of humour. I finally kind of got where I started to get where the plot was going, because of course I missed the first one, so I was scratching my head for quite a lot of the first bit, but yeah.
Well, in a sense, we did open on what was essentially a series of diversions of, comic drunkenness. And, drunk scenes can be notoriously self-indulgent and tricky to pull off. And drunk acting can be very bad. So there is a trap that you could fall into with a lot of the material from this session. But done well. And it's got music, it's got dancing, it really is pulling out all the stops to keep this lively and exciting. Rachael, any final thoughts?
It took me maybe a scene or two to drop back into this. But after that, I mean, it does have so many laughs, and it's got so much what do you call it? Where the part where Callimela says she loves Timon rich, not Timon poor. That's just such an oof line. It's got so many great moments. I really enjoyed it. I think it's genuinely funny without some of the other a lot of the other comedies we've done, without those problematic elements showing up. It's just I think it would do really well with the modern audience, because there's something, whatever they've done with the humor in it, that has, I think, not expired.
Yes, I mean, there are a couple of lines which should be tweaked, but for a modern audience, there are a couple of slightly problematic lines. But on the whole, yeah, it's just because most of the jokes are sort of landing around the areas of slightly scatological or other areas, and that would never dates, and you can generally get away with that anyway. Liza, any final thoughts?
Well, I continue to like the writing. The lacunae in the text are frustrating, and I really wish we had them. I wish we had a complete text, because, I mean, you were saying, Rob, that not much is known about this play or its circumstances, but this is a stage-worthy play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, this is not in doubt.
Yeah. So I quite like this play. The characters are all very distinctly drawn, and they're very funny.
And I don't think the the potential lacuna are big. I don't think we're missing more than the odd line or two so far. There is a gap coming up next time that might be more substantial. But thus far, I don't think it's much more than just the odd line here or there. Potentially slightly more in other places. I'm putting this so far, unless it really, really tanks in the final session. This goes on the list. Any other final thoughts on the room? No. Well, in that case, all that remains is to thank all the wonderful readers for their wonderful reading. Thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye. What? Have I pissed upon my father's urn?